The following production is produced by the State University of New York College at Oneonta.
Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Red Dragon Sports. I'm your host, Geoff Hassard, Assistant Director of Athletics and Sports Information Director here at SUNY Oneonta. And we're closing in on the end of the first semester. So tonight we've invited into studio our men's and women's swimming and diving teams. So if you could please stay tuned after the break, I'll be joined by tonight's first guest, head coach Chris Schuler-Giorsi.
What makes D3 special is the ability to participate in my team and within the broader community.
The perfect ending to a perfect season.
Being a D3 student athlete has completely expanded my life.
I learned how to lead. I really found a voice.
What time is it?
It's more about the experience rather than just a sport itself.
Without the experience of being a Division III student athlete, I wouldn't be the person who I am today.
NCAA Division III. Discover, develop, dedicate.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now in studio is head women's and men's swimming and diving coach Chris Schuler-Giorsi. Hi, Chris.
Good evening, Geoff.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks.
We're closing in on the end of the first semester. Your swim season, geez, I mean, you guys have been swimming for almost, what, 2.5 months already? Maybe
yeah,
three?
We're
Close
in
to it?
week 10.
Week 10. Is that, I guess the first question is how grueling is that? I mean, the season is so long.
It's very grueling.
I mean, you get the kids all, you get them into a program, you get them all warmed up, and you get them going, and then, you have a little break.
Yeah.
And then you come back in the second semester, and we'll talk a little bit about your
Yep.
Florida trip and stuff
Yep.
like that. But getting them, so soon. I mean, you start, what, end of or mid-October?
No, we are in the water at the end of September, start of October. So we're doubling. We do double practices by the middle of October.
Okay.
So we're weight room at that point, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 a.m. And then come November, we break out into specialty groups. So sprinters, mid-distance swimmers, and then distance people. Sprinters stay in the weight room because they don't need as much yardage, but that ballistic strength training is still really important for them. And then mid-distance and distance, because we are starting to hit our peak volume, we need to break it up into 2 practices. So they'll probably cover anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 yards in the morning, and then we'll do a max yardage in the afternoon of maybe 8,000, 9 for the distance people. For a total volume could be as large as 13,000 or 14,000 yards for the day. And again, that'll be a Monday, Wednesday, Friday type of rotation. So we are coming down the hill of our first peak. We train what is called a 2-peak season.
I was going to ask you,
yeah.
When do you peak and when do you back off?
Yeah.
The athletes, how do they handle that?
Yeah, right now they're still kind of miserable, even though we're coming down the hill. We're not coming down the hill fast enough, But we're still at a high volume right about now. We were 7,000-8,000 last week. We're at about 5,000-6,000 this week. And with finals going on next week, I really try to tone things down for them as to how they want to come in and train and get practices done. So it's just more like a steady state holding pattern so that we don't lose any of the development that we've established at this point. And then the expectation is when they go home over the break, some of them will return to their high school teams, some of them will return to their club teams. I give them leeway to do their practices if it's not convenient to do a practice that I send home with them. I mean, at that stage of the game, some of my thought processes is training and conditioning in the water is better than no training and conditioning in the water.
Right. Now, do they also do some weight training during the semester? Well, I guess you say semester break. It's about a 3-week 3-week period?
I strongly encourage them to, because when they come back, when they're on that like holiday break, the midwinter break, we encourage them to do some weight training. If they can't do weight training, then to do some just like calisthenics, like crunches, ab work, push-ups, pull-ups, leg crunches, and if they are able to get outside and do a little bit of running, anywhere from 1 to 3 miles. Not swimmers don't like running usually. And so,
even though they're probably the fittest athletes almost.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. We're water based. We're not land based. But they will do that, because we do that down in Florida, which is really nice when we have the option to be running outside down there. And we do a weight training program. There's a gym across from the facility that we train at, that we have access to do weightlifting when we're down there. So if they're not doing it over the holiday break, it's just that much harder for them when they come back and we go down to Florida.
Now, have you always incorporated the weight training as part of your swimming conditioning program?
We have, and it's always been, it seems to have kind of evolved. We've started out with just sort of light circuit type stuff, and then Tom Benoit, did a lot of specialization weight training that was geared toward swimmers, and so we broke things up into different group categories, so that on certain days they'll be in either Group A, Group B, or Group C, and they rotate that through. And again, with even those 3 different groups, it's broken further into specializations between sprinters, and how much they need to continue to be lifting, and then our mid-distance and distance people. Mid-distance and distance people really are kind of on their own right now, but the level of lifting that they're doing can actually really get accomplished in 1 or 2 sessions a week. So, you hope they do that 1 or 2 sessions a week.
Right now, is it mostly upper body weight training, or is it total body fitness?
It is total body fitness. There's so much benefit off of the leg strength in their start and in the turns, getting, jumping off of the walls, that explosion off of the walls. So, and even, breaking out into that streamline position and maintaining a steady state kick, it's all a very, ballistic, explosive activity. So that type of weight training for them is still very important. And then a lot of core type work for stabilizing the body. It's often been described that swimmers want to think more like canoe and not a rubber raft, So the rigidness of the canoe is going to allow the paddles to just cut through the water. But if you're in sort of like a soft rubber dinghy, you're not going to cut through the water as well as if you maintain a good tone core. So the ab work is definitely very important.
So the athletes in our program, I mean, the expectation and the things that they're getting is really, like you said, it's geared towards specific types of events for those who are sprinters, long distance, middle distance, that kind of stuff. So they get a real, your conditioning program you're pretty happy with, and the outcomes.
Yeah, the specialization of what it is that they're doing. Yes, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely.
Now, you mentioned a little bit your Florida trip. Certainly that comes up every January, and you guys go down to Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale, yeah.
Just tell us a little bit about how the trip works, and maybe talk a little bit about how, while you're down there, it's a great atmosphere for team building type stuff.
Yeah, really, very much so. The student athletes come back this year, the 2nd of January. We train here for a couple of days to kind of just get ourselves ready for the training trip. We'll fly out on Wednesday, which is January the 5th, and we're there from Wednesday to Wednesday. And we do double sessions as well as a competition when we're down there. We're only, I think, about a 1/4 mile to a 1/2 mile from the facility. So we do incorporate like walking or running, back and forth to that to get there for our training sessions. And it's a 50-meter pool. So it's, obviously twice as long, if not longer, than our home pool. And that does take a little adjusting to, for them. Sometimes they'll think of it as just, instead of, they'll think of it as a giant 25 or a giant 50, being that it's down and back. Its advantage is that they really can focus on establishing a really good rhythm in the water. We will try to, like, the downside of it is because we do compete in short course, they're not working their walls as much, you know, so we will try to change up some of the practices a little where we are only working half the pool, you know, so that they're getting more turn work in, or we'll do what's called 10-minute turns where we just, you know, shorten it up outside of the flags and they're just kind of doing a relay fashion back and forth on that. But we got our time slots that we had requested this year, so we're 8 to 10 in the morning and we're 4 to 6 in the evening, so that in between time is really just a lot of very nice downtime for them to recover or explore the area. Over the years that we've been down there, the students have taken advantage of some of the fishing excursions, you know, so a group of them will get together and they'll go on like a day fishing trip, or a lot of times they'll instigate a ultimate frisbee or football game out on the beach in between sessions. There's the jet skis, you know, that they rent sometimes down in that area, you know, and so a couple of them will go in and do that. I think last year there was a group that did parasailing, which was really kind of cool. And then a group of us took advantage of the IMAX theater that was down there, and we went and saw a show that was down there. So it is kind of really nice for them to not have to think about everything else, you know. They can just be with the team, they can concentrate on their training, they don't have to worry about homework, they don't have to worry about their part-time jobs, you know, and it's an added bonus that the weather's nice, or at least
right now they're having a freeze down there.
Yeah, we're hoping that that'll be all said and done.
You hope you're not going from cold to cold.
No, last year was absolutely awful with the weather, as cold as it was. So I am confident it's going to be the hottest Florida ever.
And the pool is outdoors, so
it's miserable if it's not nice. Yeah, it's miserable. I think the coldest day we had last year was a wind chill of 25 degrees on that pool deck, and the water temperature is probably in the low to mid 70s. And so it's not comfortable, not pleasant.
Now, what's the temperature of the pool in our water in our pool?
We're about 82.
82.
Yeah, 82 or 83.
And is that now? This is when you go and compete. Do some people?
It should be colder.
Oh, it should be colder.
It should be colder. And I do, for our home meets, I'll have them drop the temperature down. But because our pool is jointly a teaching pool as well as our competition pool, we have to sort of come onto a happy medium. I've always told the athletes, with it as hot as it is, it's an additional training stressor. You know, so the fact that they endure the heat of the water, you know, it's just one more stressor. Do people swim faster in a colder pool than they do in a warmer pool? Is there a difference in the water? Does it make a difference? It can make a difference. You know, like, actually, it's interesting you say that, because down at Eisenhower for ECACs this last weekend, it was much colder than I would prefer a competition venue to be. It's not so bad. Like, the water temperature is around 68 to 70 as competition goes. That's a pretty respectable competition temperature to be at. And their water temperature probably was that. The problem with their venue is it's cold on the pool deck. And so if they're holding, you know, if they're frigid and their muscles are tight and they're uncomfortable because they're wet, and you know, and you get cold real fast, then you're not loose when it's time to get in and race and be ready to go. So you really have to either hit the hot showers or get in and do that much more of a high intensity kind of conditioning warm up in order to be able to race to the extent that you would like. And for some of our kids, they're ultra lean in their body fat, and they could keep moving forever and not get warm enough. So you do want to have that kind of happy medium of warmer air temperature, cooler water temperature.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about the team here as we close out this segment. We've had some top performances. Our freshman diver, Jermaine Miller, provisionally qualified for the NCAA in his diving. And, of course, you know, we'll have Alex Miller on the show, and we'll talk to him a little bit about how he's doing. He's having another great season.
Yes, definitely.
We have some other, Kristen Magliola, sophomore, another top swimmer for us. Anybody else that's kind of been showing some progress or some growth this year?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, as freshman, Ryan Walsh, who's our butterflyer, is doing fantastic. You know, last time I checked in the rankings, you know, he's definitely in the top 3 within the conference for his performance in the butterfly. Just broke the school record in the 200 butterfly. I think as returners, a standout, Stephen Horgan is really showing considerable improvement from last season to this season. I'm really impressed with where he's going on that. As a new sort of member to the team, Lindsay Molfino, she's showing a great deal of versatility in what she's capable of doing. I'm finding, you know, no matter what I put her in, you know, she's still performing very well at that level. We have a lot of very talented freshmen on the women's side that are surprising me. You know, they come in set for these particular events, but we put them in another event. Kelsey Ward is one of them. Having graduated some of our distance swimmers last year, she stepped up and you know, wanted to swim the 1650 and took second at North Country, and I mean, just an incredible performance time she had posted on that. So very, very pleased with where things are going on there.
Well, and then we certainly keep continuing to build. Like you said, we have a talented freshman class, and hopefully we can add another one, because of course last year you had a pretty good class crop of kids.
Yeah, recruiting's going extremely well right now. Our numbers are significantly higher than they were last year at this particular time, and we're hosting a recruiting event this weekend, and we have several prospects that are going to be here for that. So I'm feeling very confident about that.
Well, we certainly hope that that confidence carries out throughout the season, as we know that when the SUNY Act comes, you know, we've qualified. You said all of our males have qualified.
Yeah,
we just have one female
all of our men
left?
and just one female left. Yeah, and she should be able to, I think, hit that this weekend. She had a little bit of a stomach bug this past weekend and not feeling quite up to par. So she's recovered and rested. Maybe even mini taper you could think of. So.
Well, we certainly hope that you can get to the point of the season, stay healthy, and hope you guys can do some great things at the SUNY Championships this year.
Yes, thank you.
And we just want to thank you for coming by tonight and joining me on the show.
Pleasure, always.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank head women's and men's swimming diving coach Chris Schuler-Giorsi for coming by tonight. And after the break, I'll be joined in studio by sophomore Alex Miller.
WUOW 104.7 FM is the region's premier radio station, offering award-winning programming from National Public Radio and Pacifica Radio Networks, giving you the chance to become more informed about the arts, information, and entertainment from around the country and around the world. WUOW is your community radio station. Join us and support the sound.
Back to the show. Joining me now in studio is sophomore men's swimmer Alex Miller. How you doing, Alex?
I'm good. How are you, Geoff?
Good. First of all, we'll let everybody know a little bit about yourself, your local product from Oneonta. Yep. What are you majoring in?
I'm majoring in accounting.
Accounting,
professional accounting.
Professional accounting. Now, Josh Wake, do you know Josh Wake? No. He was a senior wrestler for us last year. He was a professional accounting manager. Just didn't know if you guys crossed paths in any classes or anything, but he certainly has done pretty well for himself. I think he has an internship in the city with a firm or something like that. But is that what you're hoping to do with that?
Well, my aunt's actually an accountant in Oneonta. She has her own business, and she's actually looking to retire pretty soon. So she said she would sell me her business when I graduate. So I kind of have that set up right out of college.
Your education is going to pay dividends right away.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up in Oneonta, and then I guess you'd say attending the hometown college? We know there's Hawick in this, but I think people consider Oneonta really the hometown college.
I mean, kind of boring. Everyone says there's nothing to do here, but I found things to do. I swam a lot. It's always loud hearing the college kids go walking up and down my street when I was little. Sleep at night, they'd come and wake me up. I could hear them coming back. But I mean, it was pretty much boring. But I swam a lot. Yeah. Did a lot of sports. Yeah. Stayed busy with schoolwork and stuff like that.
Yeah. Now we talked a little bit before we went on the air about you were a member of the Y swim team, the YMCA swim team, all the time when you were a youngster, and you said that
since I was like 6 till 18, so
12 years. Yeah. What was that experience like?
It was good. Like the best way to swim is start young, and you get better the more you practice. So it's a great experience. I met a lot of people that way. I actually met one kid that I swam with when I was 6 all the way up through high school, and I actually swam with him again at ECACs last weekend as a college student. So you meet a lot of people, and you grow up with them kind of throughout swimming and become friends.
Well, because as you might imagine, I mean, a swim team could be 20, 30, 40 kids, and you're swimming another town, and there's 20, 30, 40 kids.
Yeah, and you get to know like who you actually swim against, like what events, like you know the backstrokers you swim against, you know the IMers you swim against, and you become friends with them, and kind of like, oh hey, see you again, like oh, good luck, I'll see you out there on the blocks. And
right stuff. Now of course you had a very successful freshman year for us.
Yeah.
School records, and you top 10 finishes at the SUNY Championships. Did you look at your sophomore year as a lot of pressure, or just, hey, let's continue to get better?
More of a let's get better, let's move up in places in the SUNY, maybe make nationals in 2-back and maybe 4 IM if possible. So
now those are your events. You swim the 2 and the 4 individual medley?
2 IM, 4 IM, 2-back, 1-back, and then all the relays.
Now, did you, as you say, when you were younger, now as you were growing up, I mean, did you swim all events, or did you learn early that, hey, or did your coach tell you at an early age, saying, geez, I really think you could be a strong backstroke? Or
no, growing up I swam. I mean, they put you in everything as a little kid. Like I actually made YMCA states. The first thing I ever made states in for the YMCA was the 25-yard butterfly. So originally I was a butterflyer. Then in high school I swam distance for a while. Yeah. Then I moved to IM and backstroke, and I just ended up being better at those. But I've swam everything. Just when I grew older, I ended up being better in the 2-back.
Now, what are the 4? I don't know. Do they call them disciplines, or the strokes that are involved in the individual medley?
It's butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, and freestyle.
And what do you think is your strongest? Is it the backstroke?
The backstroke's my strongest,
yeah,
without a doubt. Yeah.
So now that's the last one that you do, or that's what you start with? What's the order?
You start with butterfly, and then you do backstroke, and then breaststroke, and then freestyle. So.
Have you ever, in the middle of a race, forgotten which stroke you're on? And
when I was little, I always back when you're 6 and 7, you swim like the 100-yard IM. So I'd always ask my dad, it's fly back, breast, and free right, Dad. Like every race, I'd always ask him. So when I was little, I was nervous about it, but after you swim it for years, it's engraved in your head.
Right. Now, do you look at yourself as a leader on our team, even though you're only a sophomore?
Not so much this year. I mean, I'm definitely a leader, but we have a young team, so I mean, I bond with everyone, and I lead the practices, and I'm there at the meets, and
right.
And yeah.
I mean, are you a vocal leader, or?
Yeah. I mean, we have team huddles beforehand, and I'll say a few things and get everyone going, and then our assistant coach does pretty well at that too, getting everyone going in the huddles and everything.
Right. Now, our assistant coach was a swimmer for us, Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson, yeah.
Certainly one of our better swimmers. So what's that like? I mean, do you enjoy being
I think
a leader?
Yeah.
On our team, and being maybe given some of that responsibility for kind of keeping the team together?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. I like having people look up to me and showing the freshmen the ropes, and showing and helping them out of practices, or talking to them, or being there for them to talk to, or someone that can help them out whenever they need.
Right. Now, your family, you have two younger sisters and a younger brother.
Yep.
And they all swim?
They all swim. 2 twin brothers and sisters who are on the YMCA team right now.
Yeah.
Who still love swimming. But my younger sister, she has shoulder problems, so she stopped swimming, but she's still.
Now, did your parents swim? Is that how you got into it, or they just kind of said, "Hey, let's go try swimming"?
No, my mom was a soccer player, kind
okay.
of. My dad was a runner for Oneonta, actually, back when he was a college student, and I think they just put me in swimming for something to do, and then I just kind of fell in love with it / hate.
Right, it is. It can be, because as Chris Schuler told us on the earlier about some of the workouts and the amount of yardage you guys do in a day, and I guess you could probably get pretty tired of it.
Tiring, yeah.
We also talked a little bit about trip to Florida. Is that a great trip for the team to take every year?
It's fun. It's also really hard. I mean, you get a lot better. You see a lot of improvement during it, and after it, you hate it, but afterwards you love it, because it helps you become a lot better swimmer during it. Right.
Now, and of course, the goal is to improve and certainly get to that point where we get to the SUNY in February.
Yeah.
And certainly we hope that our teams, men and women, will perform well well enough to move up in the standings this year. I mean, how do you think we'll do?
Well, this year we beat Oswego for the first time in I think a while.
Quite a
and
win.
I believe they got 5th last year in the SUNY, so we're hoping to get at least 5th, if not 4th this year. So that'd be, I think we got 7th last year, so that'd be a pretty big improvement from last year.
It would be. It was a young team.
Yeah, a young team. So we only have one senior this year, so we'll get one senior on the men's team this year who graduates. So next year we're going to have no seniors and just keep on getting new freshmen, and so we'll just become bigger and hopefully more depth and stronger team, and can even go up even farther in the next couple of years.
Well, we certainly hope that we can get back to back in the late 60s and early 70s. We certainly had a strong men's program, and we certainly hope that we're on that direction or whatever. And swimmers like yourself are certainly helping us get there. We'd like to thank you for coming by tonight, and stay healthy, and hopefully in February you'll reach your goals.
Yep, thank you.
All right, well, I'd like to thank Alex Miller for stopping by tonight on the show. And after the break, I'll be joined by senior swimmer Sarah Boetti.
My pot of gold, your daddy's little girl, till heaven home.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now in studio is senior women's swim captain Sarah Boetti. Welcome to the show, Sarah.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm from Long Island, and I am a child and family studies major. 4th year on the team, captain this year, so it's all very exciting.
What's it like to be captain of the swim team?
It's great. You know, I love being that positive influence for the freshmen. You know, freshmen coming in, I remember my freshman year, a lot of nerves, don't really know what to do. So it's nice to have them come to you and ask you, you know, what's going on, what to do, and just, you know, help the team out as much as I can.
Now, so you look at yourself as really kind of a resource for maybe some of the younger swimmers, and maybe some academic questions or training questions?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely try to put myself out there as much as I can. I don't like to say that I'm, you know, the only one that does that for the team. I mean, our team is really, really good. You know, a lot of people step up and help out. But I like to think that I make it easy for anyone to come up to me and ask me any questions they have.
Well, that's good.
So.
Now, do you look at yourself, are you a vocal leader? Because we had Alex on the show, and he said he was kind of a vocal guy.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely a vocal leader, too. I was always a loud person, very personable person, and, you know, the way coach is, that she didn't want that to change because she's very loud and vocal. Yeah. So I definitely lead with my mouth.
Now, how's your season going so far?
It's going well. Training is definitely hard. You know, I'm feeling it being a senior. Yeah. My body's starting to get tired more easily. But it's definitely going well. We beat Oswego, which was huge for our team. We haven't beat them, I think, 14 years. Wow. So, I mean, it was a huge meet, and we won NCIs, so it's going well. Hopefully SUNYX will be good this year. And
we still probably have a relatively young team on the women's side?
Yeah, yeah. Our sophomore class and our freshman class are huge. So it's good to have the new people in. You know, they're the ones that's going to change swimming here.
Right.
So.
Now, do you look at that? Does that give you a little extra motivation? You know, with younger swimmers coming in, maybe trying to beat you in the pool? And
yeah, it's definitely kind of like, geez, these people are fast. But I mean, it makes me happy to see, because I know the team is going to go somewhere now.
Right.
You know, I can't really get too jealous about it, because I know they're going to make this team great.
Right, and for you, where you're a senior now and you'll be leaving the program, you think that the mark that you're leaving and the influence that you're having on some of these younger swimmers will also, you know, help them along their path to whatever they decide to do athletically.
Yeah, I definitely hope so. I mean, swimming's the type of sport that is very demanding, you know, mentally and physically. So I always try to keep that positive light in their eyes. And, you know, let them know, like, remind them every day that you just got to get through this practice, get through this set, you know, get through this meet. So I hope that they take a lot of that and, you know, bring it to the program, because as the years go by, the program gets harder and harder. Yep. Season changes every year. So hopefully they'll be able to take that advice. And
now, have you been a lifelong swimmer? Alex said he's been swimming since he was 6.
Yeah, 5th grade.
5th grade.
Yeah, lifelong swimmer.
Now, was it something you wanted to try, or was it something your parents kind of said, hey, why don't you try swimming?
I did every sport out there, and I failed at everything. So swimming was really the only thing I adapted to, and I just really loved it. You know, I was always like a water bug when I was a child. So yeah, I just kind of fell into it.
Now, do you, with your child and family studies, what do you see yourself doing with that? You want to be a teacher? Or?
I actually want to work with youth with addictions.
Okay.
So I'd like to do some sort of case management or social work.
Okay.
Yeah, anything that could put myself out there and help an individual in need is more so what I want to do.
That's very noble.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. That's really great.
So we'll see.
Now, do you think you could see yourself being a swim coach?
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I would love to coach just because from my experience with it, the ups and downs, I think it would be great to kind of shine that light on another swimmer athlete, you know, because it is hard. It's a hard sport, you know, and it means a lot when your coach went through it all and knows how you're feeling, you know, and all that. So I think I would definitely look into coaching, and it's fun. It would be fun.
Now, how has Oneonta influenced what you've been doing, you know, with yourself, the swimming and the academics? I mean, was it a good choice for you? You know, you've gone almost done. You got another semester, but
yeah.
I mean, how has Oneonta been for you? I mean, what kinds of things would you highlight?
I think just the people. I mean, on campus, off campus, this whole town is just very much about us. You know, I mean, the professors here are great. They're always there to help me, and they really understand. You know, I had to miss like the past 3 Friday classes for meets, and they're always there to help me. And, you know, there for me if I need extra help or this and that. So it definitely goes hand in hand. You know, the education and the athletics, which I was nervous about, you know, because you don't know how it's going to, you know, balance each other. But it works out pretty great. And obviously, you know, being on this team and having my coach there, she's kind of like a step-in mom for me. So.
She does a great job of keeping the team together and being a close-knit group. I mean, that's always one of the things that I've seen with the swimming and diving teams. You know, sometimes you have a male-female situation and they kind of are separate, but she does a great job of keeping everyone together.
Oh, yeah. She has us over for dinners.
Yeah.
We go over for Super Bowl, and I mean, I have a lot of friends in the conference at, you know, Cortland and a lot of different schools, and they're all like, your coach like has you over?
Yeah.
You know, like they're like amazed by it, you know, and they all even talk to me about how great, you know, our coach is and everything she does for us. So it's definitely nice.
Well, we certainly see that you've had a great experience here during your 4 years, and we certainly hope you stay healthy.
Yeah.
And that both teams will swim well, and especially, you know, individually. I hope you have a great second semester and do great at the SUNYX.
Yeah, thank you. Me too.
Well, thanks for coming by.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'd like to thank all my guests tonight from the men's and women's swimming and diving teams. And I'd like to remind you that you can get all the updated information that you need about Oneonta Athletics at www.oneontaathletics.com. And please check out our 24-hour sports hotline. Thank you all for joining me this week, and we'll see you next time on Inside Red Dragon Sports.